Hey y'all, what's going on? It's the Culture Critiques panel. We're back again to discuss the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City's season 6, episode 17, which just so happens to be the reunion part 1. Let's get into it.
Yes, let's go.
Yes. Here we are, y'all. Hello. Oh my goodness. First of all, happy Friday. Second of all, this first part was very interesting. I do say so myself. Yeah, certain people really worked my nerves, y'all. Obviously, we're going to get into all the specifics here in a minute, but obviously, before we get into all that, we need you guys to do a couple things for us, which include liking the video. We are streaming from both of our channels, so go ahead and hit the like button on both. Make sure you're subscribed to both. Leave us some comments on this first part of the reunion. Leave us some comments on what you thought of the season, our commentary, all things. Let us know down in the comment section. Share it with your people. Make sure that notification bell is on so you don't miss any of our uploads. And yeah, share us with all your people. What say you? How do you feel about this first part?
Oh, I agree exactly what you said. Like, excuse me, the fact that people were projecting, people were like literally the stuff that they were saying. No, let's just be clear, lying. Let's just lay it out there. Just complete lies. Like it was like how the season was. The same people that was lying during the season is still lying and projecting, and I'm tired.
I agree. I think, but I would even take things back further and say that this wasn't just things that we saw with certain individuals within just this season. This goes back a couple seasons. If for all the day one watchers, some of the feelings that I have on people is because this is who they've displayed themselves to be time and time again. And for some odd reason, they keep escaping accountability. They keep escaping being called out. And I just know if I was on the cast, I know exactly who I would be going for. And again, y'all, we're going to get into specifics here shortly. But yeah, this first part was cool. Not mad at it. We know that things really get kicked up a notch during that part 2. So I think that's where we're going to kind of hear some different things and kind of get into the real meat and potatoes, if you will. But yeah, I watched the Peacock version, y'all. So if we say something that you didn't quite catch on your end, it's probably because we watched the uncensored and extended version on Peacock. So I didn't even watch it on Bravo at all. So like, I don't even know what the extra was, but yeah, nonetheless, I guess we'll just jump into it. Y'all make sure you say hi and get active in the chat. We know we love to hear from you all. So don't be shy. Come on out the bushes. Let us know you're here and you're watching and you're listening. Can I just say that Andy jumped right in, production jumped right in, y'all. We didn't get any glimpses of the ladies arriving. We didn't see any behind the scenes. We didn't see Andy popping in on them on backstage in their dressing rooms, nothing. It was lights, camera, action. We got right to it. And I just want to say that, also, my opinions on people's looks didn't change at all for the most part. I still feel pretty much the same way. I did appreciate Meredith's dress a little bit more, seeing it in action. But for the most part, the ones that I didn't like, I still didn't like. And the ones that I liked were still cool. I don't know about you, but yeah, that was my assessment. Just seeing them in action during this first part. So after some greetings and pleasantries, y'all, we get right on into it with Meredith. Actually, all the ladies are saying their intentions and stuff, and Meredith, she goes right for Whitney, y'all. She asks Whitney, based on their conversation at BravoCon, she heard that Whitney said that there were some things that she wanted to clear up. So Meredith wanted to give her the floor to do so. And Whitney says, yeah, like I will take this time to clear the floor. And
I was laughing.
I was like, I don't think you say it exactly like that.
Clear the
But
air. You want to clear the
like,
air.
I'm pretty sure it's clear the air, but go off, Whitney. So she proceeds to say that she was drinking a lot of BravoCon, which I'm not sure if you heard, but I definitely heard that through different content creators online and stuff, that Whitney got white girl wasted, I guess, is what you call
Dang,
it.
that's funny because I literally was gonna say chocolate wasted, and you went full fledged with you said.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm. So the drinks were going, and she was feeling very happy, very giddy. She gets super like lovey-dovey when she is drunk, and so she went up to Meredith to try to talk to her and say that she's sorry for how things transpired between them, and she was just trying to be a friend and stuff, and apparently that is not what happened, or that is not what she intended. What she intended to happen is not exactly what happened from there. Meredith actually went and said that she retracted everything that she said about her and Britani. And of course, Meredith is like, no, that's not exactly how it happened. My whole thing is, you came up to me saying, like, why can't we just be friends off camera and leave camera on? And that's not how I operate. I'm the same on camera as I am off camera. And I did establish boundaries with you. And so I guess it's clear to each of them that the other one thinks that they lied, that they think that each person lied on them. So they begin to go back and forth, of course. And Meredith, Whitney says that Meredith took her trying to be kind to her and flipped it, lied on her, etc. Meredith says that Whitney was drunk. Her husband had to carry her upstairs, and whoop-de-woo. And so all in all, they began to just really just go back and forth with that whole thing, and up to the point that Whitney actually says Lisa, like she supported Meredith so much so, even when Lisa, and of course Lisa hears her name, and she's like, yeah, all the things you did say were awful and horrible. So yeah, no. And Whitney's telling her to shut up because, everybody likes to think that Lisa jumps in and speaks for Meredith. They're, attached at the hip in that regard. So Whitney's telling her to shut up. Meredith's like, no, she ain't got to shut up. Lisa's like, I'm not shutting up. And it just, continues to unravel from there. To not get into all of the specifics beyond that, because again, it's clear that each person thinks that the other one lied on them. What say you about this first little spat between Whitney and Meredith?
Meredith was trying to have a moment because it wasn't going to change the trajectory of anything. It's going to go the way it's going to go, whether you say what you said to Whitney or not. You just trying to have this little, because I have to see why the way we have to, like, girl, shut up. And the fact that she's trying to say that Whitney lied, and it's like, that's what Whitney's been accusing you of doing this whole time. So like every time she says stuff, I just feel like, girl, I don't trust nothing, not one thing coming out of Meredith's mouth. Let's be free. DJ Meredith, I don't trust you. I don't trust nothing that come out your mouth. I don't like the way you talk to Whitney. I think you tried to sun her in that moment, and girl, bye. So yeah, I wasn't here for none of that. I wasn't here for her projecting, because that's what you're doing. No, because you've been lying. I'm not gonna accept the lies that you're trying to portray on me. So you mean the same way when I saw what I saw on the airplane, and you're trying to tell me that I didn't see that? you're trying to tell me that I didn't see what I saw or hear what I heard. But you want me to sit here and say, oh no, but I was so drunk, I don't remember nothing, because that's what she was insinuating to Whitney too. That pissed me off. Because let me tell you something. I can be drunk off my skunk, off my tail. But if I have not talked to you and I get something off my chest, trust and believe I remember how I said it, when I said it, what, and all of it. And that's why Whitney was so convicted, because she's like, girl, I was drunk, but girl, I laid into your ass. Yes, I did. Yeah, I did. I told you what I needed to tell you with nothing on my chest, because I was drunk off my behind. Remember? And you mad that I can remember, and you're mad that you can't remember. All right, I told last night I watched. Y'all don't even know how many times I watched this reunion. I was so mad. I was doing a client's hair last night, and she watched it. She have never watched. She's watched Housewives, but not Salt Lake City. She was like, wait, what? And I heard of it. Da 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 da. So she watched the reunion with me, and when I tell you, she was in here like, what? And then I was like, I'm gonna lay into them tomorrow. I'm laying into them. I'm laying into them. I'm not. No. We're not doing this. Go ahead, sis. I'm not going off on you.
Upset with I wasn't upset so much as like I don't know, just in general I kind of am over the Meredith and Whitney of it all, and them going back and forth about these little things, because I think that while there may be some truth on either side, I think that there's still, while there may be some lies and some untruths on each side, I do think there is some truth too. Just because, again, I have heard that Whitney, yes, was extremely drunk. So much so that, Andy, I feel like tried to play it cool on saying that he was just like, they were just worried that she was going to fall or whatever, or fall across the stage or whatever he said. I do feel like that was just him trying to clean up. And what I've heard is that, no, they were kind of irritated with her. And I also feel like if Meredith is telling the truth by saying that, no, like, I can't be different off camera, like it's going to be the same. I do appreciate her saying that. And I feel like more people should live by that. It should be, the show should always be reflective of your real life, because that's, what we're supposed to be watching, right? Reality TV. So I understood why she'd say that, but all in all, for me, I'm really sick of this whole narrative between them two. And even upon concluding this whole back and forth, it's clear that it's not 100% squash. So unfortunately, I feel like we're going to continue to hear about it. I just think that these are two people that wouldn't normally be friends in real life. I think that they are into two different like types of life, and are just two different types of people that just wouldn't normally be interacting with one another. I feel like if the show wasn't involved. So I feel like that's why it continues to come around again and again with them going back and forth. But I was just irritated and just like annoyed by, I'm like, is this really where we're going to start? I just didn't care that much. And I also didn't care that Lisa chimed in, because
that's where I was going with it.
You did say her name, and like, you know how this whole thing works. So I wasn't surprised that Lisa spoke up. It was what it was, y'all. Y'all let us know in the comments how you feel. But from there, of course, we get into a little bit of Lisa Barlow, and mainly her in the lawsuits. And based on what was said earlier in the season, Andy asks Heather if she still considered Lisa to be a risky effing friend. And Heather says, yeah, she does, because Lisa plays with really high stakes and she's going to fight to the death, and it's Lisa's way or the highway. So I'll just pause here to ask if you think that who's more risky of a friend, Lisa or Heather? Do you agree with Heather's assessment? How do you feel about that?
Coming from Heather, it's crazy because she was fighting so hard to be her friend. It's kind of weird that she feels that way. Because if she was a risky friend, you was like always wanting to be her friend. So that's kind of on the weird side a little bit. But at the same time, Heather is not the only one that feels that way. So I don't think that Heather's like far-fetched with it. It's just like it's the right message. It might be the wrong messenger.
I can respect you saying that, but what I don't respect is the fact that Heather really had the audacity to come up out her face to say that somebody is more risky of a friend when, yes, to your point, we all see that in real time. Heather is really, I feel like Heather was just honestly just jealous that she wasn't over there with Meredith and Lisa. To be honest, I feel like they really, Lisa, for me, I'll just go ahead and not to get not to get too ahead of myself, but I will say that Lisa took charge of this reunion. In my opinion, I feel like Lisa came out the gate swinging, and yeah, she got this first part off, in my opinion. And that's also supported by just how irritated Heather was getting. You know, we've seen her eyes just over there, just looking at them with so much disdain, and I really think it was more so jealousy than it was disdain, honestly, because I mean, let's be honest, y'all, I really do feel like this is an actual real life interpretation of what Heather's closet looks like. You guys can't tell me I'm wrong. I feel like that is literally how Heather sees Lisa, and we even seen this season. I mean, let's reflect back on this moment where where Heather did just try to say, like, on one hand, Lisa, like, she tried to call out Lisa's faults, but then at the same time, she still wants to be your friend, and it's just bringing me back to high school antics. And again, I think the biggest thing here is that Heather, you're the biggest risky person on all the franchises combined. I would still label Heather as the most risky, and I say that because y'all can't forget that. Did you guys forget about this? And what I mean is, did you guys forget that Heather said out of her own mouth that could have been done by production? That's a big ass lie. You're now lying on production, and that can actually change things, like, in a major way behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're the biggest risk to not only your castmates but the whole production crew, the whole thing.
But
So,
not only that, though, sis, to your point, the way she even treats Whitney, like, remember, she treated Whitney, she flipped out on Whitney not a couple of seasons back too, where they were fighting. This one when Jen Shaw was on, and they were fighting behind a table, and Whitney like had to come at Heather, and I was like, why are you talking to your cousin like that? Like, why are you doing that?
Like a bar or something. I remember that. Yeah.
It did spill over to the bar too, but it started, I think, in that scene, and then it spilled over. But I'm just saying, like, literally her back and forth with, like, that's your relative, that's your, that you guys can do that. But I do with, yeah, I agree. She is the riskiest friend.
The bigger deal for me is definitely production. If you're willing to go to that great of a length to make sure that this is, I feel like everything that Heather does is just to make this an amazing show, which, I mean, yes, I appreciate it. We love this show, but you can just see her go. You're talking about Lisa plays with high stakes and stuff like that, and she's willing to go the distance. You were willing to go the distance of actually roping production into your lies. That's a whole different can of worms, in my opinion. So for her to come out her face to say anything of the sort in anybody's direction is ludicrous to me.
That's true. That's true.
So from there, Lisa turns it back on Heather, though, and she's like, nobody's more snaky than you, and how am I a risky friend? You've been snaky in our friendship. And Heather interrupts her, of course, to say, how have I been snaky towards you, Lisa? And Lisa's like, the farting while making out. Hello. Heather then throws Angie under the bus, which I'm like, I don't know if you guys are picking up on it, y'all, but every single time we get into the Heather of it all or whatever, she either ropes somebody else in or she deflects and puts the light on to something that has nothing to even do really with the main argument. And I feel like she did it there by throwing the hot potato at Angie and saying that she's the one that brought it to camera. And Meredith says, well, you know, Angie was encouraged, like, let us not forget that. And so to Lisa, Angie, or to Lisa, being snaky is Heather egging Angie on to say something, and just to do it, just to like make a funny moment, so to speak. And Angie's also saying that Lisa told multiple people and she didn't laugh. So Heather's like, you know, so you don't think that that's snaky for you to hold your hair in front of your mouth and say all that? And Lisa says, you know, her reaction to that, when you're ready to listen and not over talk and tag team because you're codependent in your responses and actions. Heather's like, that's really rich coming from you because, you know, we tag team with you two. I mean, and Lisa's like, no, I don't need to tag team. I'm fucking solo, honey, and I'm good solo. And I was like, okay. I couldn't get mad at that. I don't know about y'all. I couldn't get mad at that. And this goes into then the DNA of it all with Lisa saying that no, she is a New Yorker through and through, Utah, because Heather was like, you're from Utah and you've been here for how many years? I'm like, this, I don't know about y'all, but this is where I get my life when it comes to the show. Is like these little sidebars and these little offshoots of conversation where it's just like, how the are we now talking about
right here?
I'm like, what are we talking about now? So again, Andy then asks Mary if she thinks that Lisa is a risky friend, and Mary says, you know, absolutely. Lisa wants, you know, Lisa of course asks Mary to expound upon that, and Mary's whole thing is that Lisa is a little bit delusional and she believes things that are not true, just like she said, you know, that she lives a very different life than everybody else. Meredith does kind of come to, I guess, you know, Lisa's defense by saying that she also believes that they all lead very different lives, they're very different from one another, and that shouldn't be like taken in offense. And so Heather is still saying that Angie and Meredith, Heather is still saying to Angie that Meredith and Lisa are tag teaming, and I think something then was brought up about Whitney and her bringing up the lawsuits. Like, why did she bring up the lawsuits when they were on an RV trip where Lisa wasn't present? And according to Lisa's or Whitney's logic, she just thinks that, well, Lisa was over here saying that she was with Ben Affleck, but then next thing I knew, I saw this post from her in Miami, and then Lisa whips out her phone and shows this picture of Ben Affleck from like 2017, and then we get into the plastic surgery. I think this is when Lisa starts to talk about plastic surgery, and because Whitney's trying to pass off her statements as compliments when they really weren't. Angie chimes in. It gets really messy. Y'all know this is why reunions are kind of hard to recap sometimes, because it's just a lot. There was a lot, y'all. There was so much. For real. It was a tennis match, it was a volleyball match, it was all those things. With everybody poking out their chest and speaking up in their own defense. And so Lisa, she then gets into the specifics behind her lawsuits, talking about how one case is actively being litigated, the other been dismissed, and Bronwyn chimes in. I did laugh when Bronwyn said, I mean, if you're not paying them back, then, you know, that's a bummer and you should, but, you know, you do owe them money. And I was like, that was funny on Bronwyn's part. But Lisa's whole thing is, you know, Bronwyn, you're one to talk because none of my allegations are, you know, criminal. Whereas, you know, with you, that's not necessarily the case. And then they get into upholding, like, who upheld this truce between them two. I don't know about you, but I kind of got annoyed when they showed that clip of Lisa talking trash about Todd at BravoCon, and not because I'm up Lisa's ass, y'all, but just because really from like a fan standpoint, I'm just like, See, this is why they can't ever be like open and honest and build a good rapport with their fan base, because now you're going back and sending it to her. Like, you should just let that play out how it was going to play out. I just, that fan, because I came across the actual fan on Instagram, if I'm not mistaken, and she was just way too happy to be like, oh yeah, I mean, I made the show, and yeah, and it was just like, girl, you're goodbye. It's like little brown noser, just wanting to get involved. That annoyed me. But trampoline with eyes, oh my god. But Lisa's whole thing is that, yeah, Todd is a very dirty old man, and I think she was really bringing it back to what I felt like this since last season. I'm not sure about you, but I remember Todd saying, remember weren't they in Mexico or wherever they were at, and Todd was like, called Lisa's tequila mediocre or something like that, and he's been kind of coming for Lisa behind the scenes for a little bit, to the point that I was kind of like, oh, I wonder how Lisa's going to feel about this when she catches wind and when she watches it back. So honestly, if your husband's back there talking shit, then Lisa can respond however she wants to respond, is how I feel about it. So yeah, I guess obviously Bronwyn sees it differently. Lisa was, of course, speaking up on how much surgery or not surgery she's had on her face. It was a lot, y'all. It was a lot.
That's funny.
But yeah, we seen another unseen clip, and I feel like just the little bit of unseen clips we saw in this first part just really speak to the fact that I wish I could watch everything that was left on the cutting room floor, because I feel like a lot of those parts they cut out actually helped the story along. Like when we seen the apology or whatever between Bronwyn and Lisa in the gallery and stuff like that. It's like, okay, that kind of gives that gives a little bit more dimension to the story, because I mean, will I sit here and say that Bronwyn was so outwardly like, oh my God, yes, I accept your apology, and oh, we're gonna be great now? No, she was just like, okay. But yeah, there was a moment between them where they did embrace and they did iron it out, so to speak. So I liked that we at least got to see those clips in this first part, but I just can only imagine what we didn't see.
There's a lot that we didn't see. You know, there's a lot that we don't get to see. That's crazy. Hey, Micah. Hey, Colette. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate y'all for being here. Girl, all of that was a lot. The whole thing was so much, because it's just like you said, it's just a lot of tit for tat, tennis playing, volleyball playing. What you said, I said. I think Lisa's in the wrong for after saying that we're not going to talk about the family. Okay, and then you do it again. Now you apologize again on the gallery, and then you do it again. It's like, okay, so where are you going with it? Because yeah, Todd did say that he didn't like your tequila, but that's my opinion. So what? I don't like your tequila. And and so you're gonna come hard for him for that, even though he was the one that said that. But there's times where they've said stuff about Todd as well. Like before, when we first were introduced to Bronwyn and Todd, Lisa was team Bronwyn and Todd. Let her tell it. So it's kind of weird that it flipped, and that we are where we are. For me, I'm thinking about how if that was my husband, he would have to come to my defense. If I'm having a beef with somebody, I'm new to the place, and everybody doesn't know me, and the person that brought me to the show, my supposedly friend, is coming for me. Yeah, I might have a little problem, and yeah, my husband better be on my side. And every little chance we get, if we gonna talk about it, we gonna do our little cat. It's not his fault it's not their fault that Lisa and her husband, they do, because they cackled about something, but I can't think of it right now. But we've all seen a couple chuckle over another couple or another person in the friend group. So that's not like really off limits. But when you say it's off limits, I'm just saying it's off limits. Like that's all it is. And for me, I know you said Lisa did own the she did, she came out swinging, she did. She wasn't playing, but at the same time, I feel like she was still doing the thing that Lisa does, which is deflect. And um, when they asked her, what did Heather do specifically to you? You said she's snaky to she was snaky about da da da. You didn't say nothing about what she did to you. So now, and that's why Heather had to bring up the hair thing. Cause like, girl, are you bringing up that? Because then I can bring up this, because that's goofy shit right there. Like, stick to what the question was. And they kept doing that. The two of them and Lisa and Meredith, they lied in front of Andy, talking about, he wasn't even talking about Bronwyn. They were. And so, like, literally everything that came out their mouth, like, she owned some shit, like she was bossing up, but bitch, sit down.
I feel like
sit down.
Unlike other times, though, we have to admit that Lisa has lost her cool before, and the way that Lisa usually argues and gets beside herself or whatever in these conversations or in these arguments, that was not indicative of what we saw in this first part, though. I think she kept her cool, and I think that's why I said, again, my hat has to go off to her in this first part, because she didn't get as unnerved as she normally would. And to me, I thought the points that she was making were valid more so than they were deflections, because yeah, I mean, she didn't lie about the fact that we had this truce or whatever, but it was up from there. And yes, they do very much.
Up from where? It was up from where? From the part where you said something about who started it? Like, when we did the truth, then who started it? Because then that's where I'm gonna go with. Because it got to start from somewhere. And if Bronwyn said I didn't do that, then why is it up from there? Why did it change? What changed?
Was that before or after? Well, I mean, that was more so, I guess, Gwen. But when they had that makeup in the gallery, whatever, was that before or after? Because remember Bronwyn, that was when she slept on the deck and she heard them down there talking, and she's like, "You're still talking about it." I can't remember if that was before.
If that was that first, yeah.
That was, but after that was after. Then I mean, there it is. But Bronwyn, I mean, even though it wasn't between her and Lisa, I know for a fact, though, that Bronwyn, you really can't talk, though, because you are somebody who had, even when we go back to the amendments, commandments, whatever, she was the first one talking about the families and the husbands and stuff like that are off limits or whatever. But she was also the first person telling Mary and Whitney that she saw Seth over there with the woman in New York or whatever. So, like, Bronwyn, you be doing stuff too. And I feel like, again, even though that doesn't apply to you and Lisa per se, your character has been called into question, at least on my part, a couple of different times. So that's why I said in the beginning that each person got certain stuff off, but at the same time, each person has their faults, very much so, Bronwyn being one of them.
Well, Bronwyn, for me, when it comes to that specific thing where you saw your friend's husband out with somebody and you don't know really what to do and how to do and what is the etiquette and how should I go to Meredith? Do I start something or do I go talk to the girls and say something? Because I don't feel like she was really malicious when she went back to the girls. She actually was kind of was like beating around the bush. Like, I'm not saying this is what I'm trying to say is I saw him with somebody. Now, what I saw, we were at a restaurant. Just like when that lady called Brittany and said that Uber driver saw Seth with him in the back seat. So it's like really the same thing, except for it's one step closer. The degree of circle is a little bit closer. It's the same thing though. So if we gonna blame Bronwyn for bringing that up, we can blame the lady that brought it to Brittany, not Brittany bringing it up, but the lady that brought it to Brittany. We gonna blame her, not Brittany, because literally, I'm gonna repeat what the Uber driver called me and said this, and I can't believe it. Now I don't even know if I want to come to Meredith or not. I don't know what to do, and that's how she did with Whitney. Was Brittany being malicious when she said it? Do you think Brittany was being malicious?
I feel like anything that's said on this show, that's not
Shouldn't be
an
taken.
utter, that's not an utter um genuity, I guess, is always going to be scrutinized. Like, if we
True.
weren't on the show, I would totally agree with you. But because
Okay.
we're on this show, no, I know exactly why Brittany brought it up. I know exactly why Bronwyn brought it up behind those blacked out glasses. Like, I'm not buying it. I'm definitely not buying it because, again, yeah, I understand not knowing exactly what to do, but you've watched this show before and you've seen how things have been handled like this, and that would have gone off a lot better. That would have gone over a lot better if it had been presented in a different way. But
Definitely.
gonna do what you want to do. Everybody's gonna do what they want to do, y'all.
We both agreed that she should have went to Meredith. Period.
Yeah.
Like, you should have went to Meredith. That was that. That's just the end, the beginning, the middle, and the end of it. Like, that's how you should have did it. Go to Meredith, girl. I've been sitting on this for this many days, and this is how I feel about it. And this is what I saw, and I don't know what to do, but here it is. And then let Meredith bring it to the girls if she wants to.
Mm-hmm. So when they cut to break, y'all, mind you, Lisa, this is when Lisa turns to Meredith to ask if she's missed anything. Meredith says, no, not yet, whatever. When we get back from break, I don't really have too much to say about this, but they reflect on the 100 episodes of the show, which, shout outs to them for that. Give us 100 more.
Right.
Andy asks Meredith if she'd ever thought she'd make it to season 6. She thought, no, maybe maximum 5. And Whitney's whole thing is she started the show. She promised herself that she'd be herself and Justin, that she'd give her real authentic self. And although it's been hard at times, it's been very cathartic. Mary, he gets into the Mary of it all because, with Mary coming into the show with this unconventional story about her and Robert Sr. Sorry, I just documentary. And so what's interesting now is that that's at the bottom. That's at the bottom of the conversation pit. Since we've gotten so much from you, and Mary says that she felt like she wasn't a part of the group at first, and except for Meredith bridging that gap, but now she sees all the good in them, she sees all the beauty in them, she just wants them to take accountability. We want you to take accountability too, Mary. And so yeah, she has love for all of them. And Lisa is asked, after being on the show for 6 years, does she still feel misunderstood by viewers? She says 100%. They say I'm delusional, they say this, they say that, and I just love my family, I work hard, and I'm very grounded. So Angie, she felt like she was the underdog coming into this whole thing, and she's really had to work to get to where she is on the show now. We've seen you working a little bit too hard, but anyway. Jack and Henry, they grew up on the show. Shout outs to them. We'd love to see the kids. That is something I will say. It is nice to see just the kids. Like, we'll meet babies. Like, shout out to like Phaedra's sons, like, for instance, like, we saw them be birthed, and now they're almost out of high school probably. So it is nice to see the kids.
Blaze and Ace too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So many pregnancies, so many breakups, so many weddings, divorces, the whole 9. So we love to see the evolution of time on these shows. And of course, he asked how their lives have changed. Heather, of course, has to say that hers is unrecognizable. I'm not sure if she's talking about physically or if she's talking about like literally.
Probably both.
Yeah,
a little bit of both. Because
when they roll those old pictures back and stuff, I was like,
the chunkiness.
I mean, obviously we know she looks totally different, but I don't go scroll down her Instagram to see those old pictures all the time. So when we do see flashbacks, it really does put it into perspective every time that, wow, that is the face that keeps on changing. Like, even I feel like she even looks a little different here on the reunion than she did maybe in the season or after. And like, it's constantly just evolving with her. But again, this is the lady who's not ashamed to say she's had over, $250,000 worth of plastic surgery. So
that's what she did. Dang, that's a lot.
Right, that's what I heard. Don't quote me, y'all. Allegedly, that's what I heard through the grapevine, that it was like around 250K. Which, and y'all, don't take any of this as me saying anything shady about plastic surgery or anything like that. I am pro-choice, pro do what you want to do. But I mean, we can't negate the fact that Mama looks totally different than she did when she first came on here. Nonetheless, she's like, you know, I've penned 2 books. I've had a produced a docu-series. I've, you know, bought
executive produced.
Four executive produced, because there's a difference. 4 cars, put 3 girls to college, and none of it would be possible without the show. I just have to stop right there to say that real quick, to say that Heather, you're full of it. This is what I mean by she just be saying stuff and doing whatever, and she needs to be stopped, because Heather, you would have been able to do these things without this show. Last time I checked, your business was thriving, and you weren't left out in the cold after your divorce because your ex-husband had money and stuff. So he might not have been there physically helping, but I'm sure the coin was coming through. The checks were clearing. So shut up, Heather. You just wanted the fame of it. There's a difference, y'all. There's a difference between being rich and famous. Like, sometimes people got the rich, but they don't have the fame. And that is a hell of a drug. People are not lying when they say that, you know, some people's heads get big and they get consumed by the fame of it all. And I feel like Heather wanted the fame. So
you're why she got a shrine of Lisa.
Do I need to pull it up again? Skylar Pearson.
I need to say it one more time.
Angie is a try hard. Yeah, I really want Angie next season to scale it back. She needs to scale it back, because she was doing a lot for not even just me, for a lot of people this season. Doing a bit much. This is shout outs. I can't remember. I gotta go and give the content creator the credit for this, because I saw it on X. But this is pretty much a real life depiction of what Heather's closet more than likely looks like, y'all. Y'all let me know. Do you guys believe this is a real life rendition of what Heather's closet looks like? I believe it. A pray Frosty forever, our queen.
I cannot. I know Lisa, if she came across this, I know she like
hilarious. Hilarious. And I mean, and again, not to give her too much, but I did appreciate, I mean, her and all the women included, I will say, there is still a bit of lightheartedness when they joke with each other. Even I think in this part with Lisa still giving kudos to Angie for her one-liners and stuff like that. They are still able to have fun with one another and, you know, do little subtle jabs and stuff like that. So I appreciate that. I feel like that's what keeps this show fresh as compared to some of the other shows where people I feel like take things too serious sometimes.
Sure.
Bronwyn appreciates everybody's style. Heather, she feels like she has changed the most. Her and Mary. Again, y'all heard what I just said about Heather. That's again her just doing the most. And yeah, that's really all I have for this reflection, this 100 episode reflection part. Yeah, Heather was not gonna let this opportunity pass her by, honey. We know. Then they cut back to break. They cut to break, come back, and Britani has joined the stage, and you know she's like, "Hi, I'm so happy to be here," and Andy's like, "I know you are." Jade.
Hold on, don't move from that moment right there. I didn't appreciate that. I don't like that. I feel like he was acting like the Housewives. I don't like the way he
biased at all times.
Yeah, I don't like it. And Andy, if you're watching, don't do that. I'm gonna need you to be a little bit more unbiased, because if she's not your favorite, and that's fine. We already know your favorites. So please don't let us see who's not your favorite. And I didn't like that, because we're gonna see when they show us that the rest of the season, the rest of the reunion, how she's gonna storm off, or and say that I'm tired of you guys ganging up on me. And I feel like in this moment, bro, you started. You actually, I don't like that. Go ahead. I don't like that.
No, yeah, I mean, obviously, like I didn't really clock it that same way when I first watched it. I clocked the shade, but I didn't really think about it like that. No, you're right. Because if it's good for the goose, it has to be good for the gander. And if it was somebody else, we've said this about him when he shows how he feels about certain people with some of the things he says. You're right. She, of course, has an emotional support bearer in tow, and of course has a message from Jared saying that he really does love her no matter what happens. He loves her, and certainly no matter what happens on the show, he loves her regardless. She don't really know about that last part, but yeah, he loves her. And so they, of course, reflect on the crossover between this SLC and Below Deck, which I'm assuming it already came out, right? Y'all let us know in the comments. I still need to go back and watch it if it's out already. If it isn't out, I need to watch that when it happens. They're not worried though about the reverse angle of things. Mary's like, maybe you, Heather and Whitney, you might be, because if you guys don't know, the cucumber of it all, that was actually found in Whitney's bag, but it was really supposed to be placed in Heather's bag because she tried to play a little joke on her, but she wasn't able to get it off in time. So she got handed with it. And then they also said, like, originally they were supposed to put it in Lisa's bag, which again, Lisa does laugh at. So again, it shows that they are.
No, they weren't going to put the cucumber in. They was going to put handcuffs in Lisa's bag. They were handcuffs in Lisa's bag. Yeah, because that's a girl. That's I don't know if it's a frat thing, but it's like, yeah, you just, especially if the crew is putting their stuff away, like literally, and you're like, yeah, you can put my stuff away. You're fine. That cucumber was something else.
Yeah. Heather or Brittany, I should say, she doesn't feel like she was the biggest flirt. She feels like Heather was.
Brittany, shut up.
Okay. And Andy, but Andy's thing is he wants to hear the final word on Heather and Captain Jason. So Heather went on to say that, she doesn't really understand how everybody pretty much misinterpreted her use of the word or the statement fuck around. Because in her eyes, that just means, like they just hit some clubs, they just hung out, they just had a good time, they're friends, like that's just what it is. She didn't know it was going to blow up like this.
Yes, she did.
You're full of shit, Heather. Because you also doubled down on it on Watch What Happens Live and tried to, there was an insinuation that something happened between you guys. Get the fuck out of here. That's not in any of these 50 states, any place that I've ever been. I like to think that everybody there would think that if somebody said we fucked around, that would mean something beyond just platonic. You were full of shit, Heather. And this is what I mean when I say you be doing a lot. And I pray to God somebody brings you down to earth next season, because you can't be serious right now. What? That pissed me off. Oh my God.
I feel like this. Here's the thing, sis. It's the thing that she said, yeah, we went out, we went clubbing, girl, that means you got drunk. That means you was hands on. You was hands on deck, baby. Ain't nobody, you are not fooling nobody, lady. Like, we kind of know that maybe he might have pushed you off. Maybe he made it known to you that it's going to be strictly platonic, but that don't mean you didn't shoot your shot.
Exactly. And like I said, like you're roping other people into your lies. That's where it gets messy. That's where you become risky, because now you're lying on somebody else. Like, a viewer asked Bronwyn about, how she arrived to the trip late, because, she says because she had to make sure her family's okay. But if that's the case, then why was Todd so surprised with the headlines if he's the one that ran a background check when you guys first met? Bronwyn's whole thing is, well, because, everything that is said online is not necessarily true. So it's, of course, going to then be surprising to Todd, who really knows the truth about the situation. Like, when this is a man who's actually found surprised by anything that happens on the show. He doesn't understand why things happen on the show, how they happen all the time. So, of course, it was going to hit him like that. And so... Wait, what? Wait, anti-social doesn't understand why it happens the way it does. Yeah, just because. Then it was. I think Andy said something to the effect about Brahma said just because a case is sealed doesn't mean a person can't talk about it. And we know that she could be liberal with the truth. So what do you say? Oh yeah. What do you say about that, Bronwyn? And Bronwyn makes it clear that she wasn't the one to have it sealed. She says it was something that happened at the workplace and that the case was fully dismissed against the person who it was about. And with her just getting her citizenship, like that wouldn't be the case if, you know, she had all these felonious things happening in her past. So let's not be delusional, y'all. And according to a subreddit or whatever, it's being alleged that in 2018, Bronwyn was let go for making fraudulent purchases on corporate cards in the total of $100,000. And charges were filed. Todd got involved and it was dismissed. So Bronwyn says that that's not what the case was about. That's what people are alleging. And she speaks on the cases that were filed on her back in college. You know, she's talked about the eviction. She's talked about doing, you know, stupid, idiotic things when she was just young, and she owns up to that. And so then we have Andy calling Lisa and Meredith out for whispering, which they denied about, you know, it being about Bronwyn or whatever, or about the conversation being had. And Heather, then, you know, she's not going to miss the opportunity to counter that by saying that, you know, you guys are tag teaming once again. And Lisa's like, girl, you recruited the whole team, so good night. Honestly, for me, I don't really even care about these charges with Bronwyn anymore, because I mean, we're not going to get the truth about certain things if they were dismissed or that they were sealed. And two, she's about to get a divorce from Todd, so I feel like there's more interest in hearing more about that. Don't give us the truth about your case, about your past. Give us the truth about you and Todd. That's what I need. I don't need any truth about this. You did whatever you did. That's on you. I want to know about this. That's how I know.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on that.
So then, y'all, we fast forward, you know, past the next break and stuff, and we pick up with Andy asking Lisa if she leaked the information about Bronwyn's past to the press once and for all. Lisa says, no, it's ridiculous. Absolutely not. Bronwyn says, you know, she did believe, it's not that she necessarily believes that Lisa leaked it, as much as Lisa's the type of person that ensures that stories gain traction, if you know what I mean. And, you know, Lisa, again, she's like, that's not true. That's not the case. That's a lie. She could read things on Twitter, and she learned how to read at 3.5 years old, to be exact. And Bronwyn says that when, you know, they were on the boat, somebody spoke to the media, and the headline read exactly this, that a RHOSLC star, Bronwyn Newport, arrives late to a cast trip amid identity fraud allegations. So that would mean that, you know, somebody on the trip had to leak that, because they're the only people on the trip that knew that I arrived late. Last time I checked, the only person I argued with was you, Lisa. I mean, yeah, me and Brittany had a little something, but no, I don't think she did it. Lisa, you're the only one that I went, you know, toe to toe with. So, and Lisa, she's like, you know, it's the click of it's not a click of a button or something like that. That's like, no, it is just a click of a button. That's not that crazy. Why do you have 6 attorneys then? Why do you have cybersecurity? Why does, you know, why this, why that? Just jumping all into it once again. And Lisa's like, you know, I don't have an arsenal on anyone. I don't really give a fuck, to be honest. And Lisa, Heather claims that she doesn't know what Lisa does as far as business, because then we get into that, and Lisa's completely offended by this, because she's like, homegirl, you've been to my events before, and now you're talking about you don't know what Lux marketing is. You don't know what I do for, you know, money. Like, what are we talking about? You've been to events with Daniel Radcliffe. Like, what, like, huh? And now you're saying you don't know what the fuck I do. And Heather says, I don't. I know you sell tequila. And Lisa's like, girl, I am a big fucking deal. These are direct quotes. And Heather's called out for gaslighting by Lisa, and Lisa's saying that, or Heather saying that Lisa is my friend. She's my friend and she's the source. I do, want to be her friend. Like,
what was she calling her? Important friend? What was it? Was it important friend?
Yeah, Lisa is absolutely her friend. She's not a good friend, but she's an important friend.
Important friend. I said, now what the hell is that?
That's
what
why
is an important friend?
An important friend is somebody that you do this to. An important friend is somebody that you literally annihilate at a table and then go and find them on a dock and try to make them be your friend again. That's what an important friend is. That's psychotic, is what that is, Heather.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
So crazy to me. Andy asks Angie what she thinks, and Angie proceeds to pull out a scroll, handy dandy scroll.
Looking like a little, I'm gonna tell you, look like a bumperclot little.
It did. On a roll.
A big ganja.
Mm-hmm. But Angie's whole thing is, she thought Lisa was her friend. She felt like Lisa, was trolling her. And as she passes the scroll over to Andy, he opens it up. He will notice that the same phone number that is on the scroll is actually the phone number that belongs to Lisa. And so, y'all, we end this first part with Lisa saying, does Angie want to talk about the pictures that are on her phone? I want to talk about the pictures that are on Angie's phone.
Can we please? And as soon as the episode starts, just start with that.
We know Lisa's gonna lie about, whether or not she was behind this or whatever. So I'd rather just get to what we can really get into that's new, which is, these pictures on this phone. I don't know what that's about, but we better jump right on.
What do you think Lisa gonna say when the number says that's her number? That's not her number. That's gonna be one of the kids' number. That's a number that she has never seen before.
It's AI. I can only just imagine what the excuse may be. I mean, again, y'all, you guys probably think I'm just looking to let Lisa off the hook by any means necessary, and that's not the case. As much as like
she don't like Lisa like that, y'all. She don't like Lisa like that.
I appreciate Lisa's position on the show, and I say position because they allow her to be in this position. The Heathers, the Angie, they prop her up to be in this position. But we know that at the end of the day, I don't like to beat dead horses. So if we're not going to get the truth about something, we might as well just move on. So, Angie, I wasn't convinced by them making up at the finale. I'm still not convinced. I'm never going to be convinced that Angie and Lisa and Lisa and Bronwyn will just be friends scot-free. Like, no, I feel like they're always going to make up to break up constantly. So if it wasn't going to be this scroll thing, it's going to be something else. Again, these are probably two people that just.
It was another tennis match if you think about it, because Lisa said, "Oh yeah, me and Angie, we have so much in common." Like she was giving her like kind of compliments a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like as if she wanted her friendship back. And I was like, wait a minute. And then for Angie now to bust her out, it's like, oh snap, this is crazy.
I feel like Lisa's gonna be fighting for her life, probably at least for another part.
Oh yeah, she gonna windmill this sex. She going to windmill.
Yeah, it was cool. If I had to give this part a rating, I would give it like an 8.
Okay. I see. I got really upset. So this is why I'm glad that I talked to you about things, because like I literally was so irritated with Meredith and Lisa, because I feel like they were, yes, they kept their cool, but I also feel like y'all keeping y'all cool because y'all trying to keep y'all lie together and act like stuff ain't bothering y'all when it really does. And Lisa, we know stuff bothers you and you've been holding on to it, because please let the husbands have a segment, because literally we got to get back into why you and your husband and how y'all not on the same page or might not be on the same book. And don't think I forgot, because I didn't. And you're good at hiding what's really going on, because you are full of yourself. So like I'm not letting my good boot right here. I'm not letting it off your neck, girl. I like literally I cussed them out thoroughly last night. I was like, yeah, no. I'm not buying what y'all trying to put down. Yeah, y'all y'all hitting some points, but for the most part, y'all been acting weird the whole season. Y'all not about to get no kudos from me in this first part. No, I don't. Literally, like I said, Lisa sitting there talking about, yeah, you were a snake for saying this, but what did she do snaky to you is what's the question, and you couldn't answer that. And then the fact that you even, when they posed that question to Mary, saying, well, if I'm so delulu, what give me an example? Like, girl, you didn't even give an example to Heather. Shut up.
Right.
So, yeah, it was just those type of things. Those to me, maybe because I just, I don't care for Meredith right now because I feel like she's been lying, especially that from that plane incident, and I can't wait for them to get on that. And then I feel like Lisa just kind of like is a mouthpiece for Meredith because she knows something's going on with Meredith, and she's not willing to say it, and that's a problem. Like you're literally doing the same thing that I'm not saying, and I'm not alleging or saying that Meredith is on drugs or alcohol problem or anything. I do have feelings about that, but in this moment, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I feel like something's up with your friend because you even went to your husband and said it. He was like, yeah, I've never seen her this upset. I've never seen her like this. You said that to your husband, but then you walked it back or dial it back when you're talking to Meredith. Like, I don't know why everybody's acting like that with Meredith. That's why they keep trying to rope you in it. They keep roping you in it, and you keep like, don't rope me in it. Me and Meredith is cool. Don't rope me in it. Like, girl, but you are in it. You're in it. I'm sorry. You, as much as y'all trying to act like, yeah, we're still the alliance and we're like this. No, I don't believe it.
It's I like I said earlier, y'all. I think the second part we're gonna continue to up the ante. I really would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this first part. Are you taking sides? Are you not? Are you, how do you feel about this? It was interesting. It was interesting to say the least. And
do you think they're gonna put the husbands on? Do you think there's gonna be a husband segment? Do you think Todd's coming? No, because
and I feel like maybe if we would have saw a little bit behind the scenes, like I don't feel like anybody's behind in the dressing rooms, like but glam. We would have seen a little glimmer or something. We would have seen even like the snippets that I saw. Well, I mean, this show is a little bit different, but the snippets of the ladies posting their looks and stuff on their social media and stuff like that. I feel like the husband would have been in the background maybe or something. And those I don't see them. Those husbands are not in New York, or if they are in New York, they might be with another woman. If they're Seth, I don't know. Okay. Anyway, I guess I should leave it there. Y'all, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, follow us on our social media accounts that are just scrolling along the bottom. Let us know your thoughts, and we will return. We will return next week with part 2.
Go see your partner, baby, because we definitely we gonna tag team, right, sis? They might not want to tag team, but we definitely gonna tag team.
I am down for a tag team, y'all. Meet us here. Don't meet us here. Meet us here.
Meet us here.